Yo, yo, yo. What's going on? I'm sorry I'm a little late because I didn't think it'd take me this long to get everything set up, and I literally had just got off work, so I'm like 15 minutes late. Not too bad. Just trying to get a few extra things set up on the side right now because it's hard to see the chat here. YouTube doesn't make it necessarily easy for me, so trying to jump through hoops to get it set up. My goodness, there has to be a way to take this off of here. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, maybe this will work. Maybe it might play duplicate audio though, so we'll see. There has to be a more intuitive way to set up the chat. Pop out chat, there it is. Okay. All right, that's set up. I'm just trying to get the chat and stuff set up. That goes to show you how often I stream on here. Yeah, I have a few more topics to jump into. There's not a lot of things, but there are some things that I've missed, given that it took me a while to work on that video. So, I mean, there's 24/7 news cycle. So, I was bound to miss something important. So, I just wanted this stream to briefly go over a few topics. Let's see. Okay. I think the first thing I might talk about is the SAVE Act. Okay. Let's switch over to my other screen. A second here. Actually, let me send this out. Share that. They don't make it easy on you for sharing this stuff. Let's take a picture. Actually, no. I'll just take a screenshot, whatever. That should be okay. I feel like a grandma when I do this stuff. I'm trying to share the stream. Okay, that is sent out. All right, let me switch over to this main screen and get into the thick of things here. Okay, I'll make myself a little bit larger. I think that's censored. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off with the Save America Act. That is, I believe it's in the Senate right now. And basically, if you don't know what the Save America Act is, it is a voter suppression bill that it's been in the works for a while actually, and I think this is the third iteration of it, if I'm correct, because there was one in I want to say 2024. I think that was just the Save Act. And then I'm trying to remember when the last one was, but there was one a while ago that was the Mega Act, which was that stands for Make Elections Great Again. So basically, this is in the Senate right now, and it passed in the House. And this is a study from the University of Maryland on who lacks documentary proof of citizenship. And basically, the Save America Act, um, it would make it mandatory for voters to have a proof of citizenship in the form of, let's say, like a birth certificate or like a passport, things of that nature. And it would also require photo ID once you do go vote, I believe. I'm about to check over that again. But yes, I do also believe that was one of the requirements. And this just gives some background over the study here. Um, but let's talk about these key takeaways real quick. So, one thing that stood out to me, like obviously the big thing that stood out to me was over 21.3 million eligible voters across the country do not have easy access to these documents, right? And obviously this bill is supposed to curb fraud, like voter fraud in cases of non-citizens voting. But when you look further into it, there have only been there haven't been that many cases of non-citizens voting or even registering the vote, right? So let's say there was 100 cases of non-citizens voting or registering the vote, right? That would only be, I think the number I saw, it was like 0.000 like 7. It was like sub zeros. Like non-citizens can't vote. Non-citizens don't vote, right? And this bill would do more harm to citizens that can vote over the potential non-citizens that would vote. You know what I'm saying? 21.3 million people is a big chunk of the electorate. Like it says 9%, but let's just say it was 21 million people that did vote right in the last election. I believe if we're just saying straight up like the federal election only, I'm trying to remember the number because I know Trump got 70 something. I know Kamala got 60 something. So that was around like 130 to 140 million people that voted in the presidential election, right? So let's take out 21 million of those people by default, right? That's a chunk, a good chunk for both parties, right? Because if you go up here, I believe it's up here. Yeah, this one. It says many Americans of all political identities lack documentary proof of citizenship. So both Democrats and Republicans would lose voters because of this. Like it's not just for Democrats to lose voters. What Republicans aren't thinking about is that this bill will also negatively affect their voting group. It is going to suppress their group as well, which to me is nonsensical, right? Like, especially in an election this important. You want to take away millions of voters from your side? I mean, I guess that's the Republican Party for you, right? Not making logical decisions. What else is on here? Yeah, millions of American citizens across race, ethnicity, gender, and party affiliation do not have or cannot easily access DPOC. Okay, so it gives some statistics down here. It says nearly 9.7 million Democrats, which is 10% of that base. I'm trying to see, where do they get this from? Yeah. So 10%, right? And then over 7.1 million Republicans and about 4.6 million people unaffiliated with either party do not or cannot easily access EPOC. So 7 million voters just being taken away like that. Because this bill, if it passed, would go into effect immediately, which is another thing. Like that would cause pandemonium in this coming election cycle. It's not like it would be the 2028 election or in a year. It would go into effect immediately. So this would affect this upcoming election in November. Yeah, it gets more into like the racial statistics and the gender statistics and age. So one thing I'm thinking about personally is that younger people who, let's say people who just turned 18 and this would be their first election they could vote in, right? It would be hard for them to vote unless they have the proper documentation. Like I didn't get my birth certificate really until like last year. You feel me? And I just got my passport. So I myself know that once you turn 18, like it takes time to get your stuff unless you already like your family already had it or it's easy for you to get all your stuff. Because if it's not, if you don't have your social security stuff or if you don't have anything like that, it takes time to get those things. Right. So I'm thinking about those people. And then I'm also thinking about people who are married, right? If you're married, this will also affect you because your last name changes. And so you'll have to produce documentation through like, I think it's your marriage license and things like that. This will also affect women a lot, which I mean, there's no surprise. There's a long history of voter suppression bills targeting women and women of color a lot. So it's no, it's honestly a regular Tuesday for these people. I'm talking about the Republicans when it comes to suppressing the female vote as well. The thing is, a lot of women voted for Trump. So that's also another factor of this I'm not understanding. Like these people are so against non-citizens voting that they would suppress their own voting base to get to end all be all for non-citizens being able to vote, which they already can't. So I'll never understand that logic. There's another thing I had pulled up. Yeah, this comes from the Bipartisan Policy Center. And yeah, it says citizenship is already a requirement to vote, and instances of non-citizen voting are rare. I mean, let's see. It says federal data shows that very few voter verification cases are returned as non-citizens. So this is from the ACLU Bauer versus Social Security Administration, right? That case. And you see here that 96.31% of US citizens voted, right? And then you have 3.12% of non-definitive response, which means they're unable to locate the record. More information or verification was required. And then you have 0.53 deceased. Like, and then the telltale here is non-US citizen at 0.04%. So let's say I'm trying to do the math here. So let's say 1 million people voted, right? Even if 1% of the people that voted were non-citizen, right? So 1,000 times 1,000 is 1 million. The number, that's what I'm saying. Like 0.04% is such a small number that it doesn't affect anything. Like that wouldn't be the difference between someone winning or losing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the second point is many eligible citizens don't have documentary proof of citizenship. So this is what I've been saying. A lot of people don't have easy access to their birth certificate or getting a passport. Also, getting a passport costs money. It's almost $200 to get a passport, right? And not a lot of people have $200 lying around for them to go get a passport on top of the amount of documentation you need. So it's just a lot of barriers that go into this. This will affect a lot of poor voters. And a good chunk of the Republican base, at least in the South, are lower, or I don't want to say this. I don't want to say lower class, but they they may be poorer, right? So that will affect that base as well. And yeah, it says here 9% of all eligible voters do not have or do not have easy access to DPOC. 52% of registered voters do not have an unexpired passport with their current legal name. 11% of registered voters do not have access to their birth certificate. Like, I just don't understand the need for a bill like this. I mean, obviously, it's for their agenda of just suppressing the vote, but it will affect them a lot. That's why I'm thinking it could even backfire on them. A lot of their people might not be able to go get the documentation they need. So they're just going to lose more votes by default. Also, yeah, this is one thing I'm thinking, right? So even if, let's say this does go into effect, right? And we all go to vote in November, and we all have to provide DPOC. How long would it take for them to even accept it and make sure that everything looks correct? And would the vote be counted? That's the real thing there, right? Even if you had all your documentation set up, how long would it take for you to vote? How long would it take for them to look over everything to make sure that everything looks good? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. And there are a couple of places that already do things similar to this. Like it says here, Kansas offers a case study of how a documentary proof requirement would likely play out in practice. Um, so they have their requirement now that has prevented roughly 31,000 eligible citizens, or 12% of all applicants, from registering the vote. In short, the law prevented far more citizens from registering the vote than non-citizens. That's what I'm saying. It's going to prevent more citizens from voting than non-citizens. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in the way that they're laying it out. And obviously, there's some sort of facade here. Like, obviously, they know if you really look at voting statistics that non-citizens do not vote to the point where it is a problem. It's just damaging the integrity of the election system, which has already been damaged. Let's be honest. But it just makes the problem somehow worse. Yeah, there are better ways to verify citizenship that would put that responsibility on the government and not voters. So this basically lays out two ways that this is done. And the front end verification, which has us provide our proof of citizenship, is the way that this act is going, right? Instead of the back end verification where the election or government officials have to consult existing data to verify our voting status or our citizen status. I mean, and obviously both of these models, they have their own trade offs and things like that. But if they were to take an approach to this, the back end approach would be better because it wouldn't put all the pressure on us to come up with all this documentation in a short amount of time to get it figured out and be able to vote. But that's by design. It's just like this is designed for making it harder for people to be able to vote. Okay, so it could have unintended consequences for election officials and election administration. So basically voting by mail or registering the vote by mail would be changed to where the proof of citizenship would have to be delivered in person. And it says here that it effectively nullifies the benefits of mail registration. They've been trying to go after the mail-in vote for a while now. Trump constantly talks about it and how it led to the 2020 election being rigged and things like that. So yeah, it's been a major talking point amongst conservatives, and he's been trying to go after it with multiple executive orders, trying to take it to the Supreme Court, things like that. Like he is big on getting rid of mail-in voting, even though mail-in voting has been a thing for years, and I mean other countries do mail-in voting as well. And he said on numerous occasions that, oh, we're the only country that does mail-in voting, which isn't true. All it takes is a Google search, people. Um, at the same time, legislation does not clearly specify documentary proof must be submitted for online registration, leaving election officials without clear guidance on acceptable delivery methods. That's what I'm saying. It is going to be chaotic if this happens. And that is the point. They want to mess up the process. Because if they mess up the process, it will instill more doubt into the voting system. And it'll lead to more people just not even bothering with voting, which could lead to a repeat of what's going on or a continuation of what's going on now. And let's see here. This point really stood out to me. The Save America Act also exposes election officials to heightened legal and personal risks. It establishes criminal penalties for officials who register an applicant who fails to present documentary proof of citizenship, even if that applicant is in fact a U.S. citizen. The bill also authorizes private individuals to sue election officials under the same circumstances. Yo, welcome in. Creed Criswell. So, do you think we're in fascism? Honestly, the way things look, I'd say we're getting closer as each day passes. We're stepping up. Why is this happening? You know, that's a great question. A lot of selfish people decided that that going after, you know, um going after immigrants and things like that nature, LGBTQ community, just people of color in general would be the best option instead of, you know, not doing that and not impeding on people's human rights and not destroying the economy and not messing up our foreign relations. It's a whole litany of things, right? But that is a good question. Thank you for asking that. I do believe that if uh it's like saying like Dems, because Dems have their own problem, right? Like it is two sides of the same coin at the end of the day, but we have to acknowledge that one side of that coin, in terms of human rights, is generally better than the other side. So if things don't turn to the other way, like if the pendulum doesn't swing, then yeah, things could definitely get dicey. If they maintain a majority going through this next coming election, then yeah, I'd say we'd be there. We'd be there. I think people are cheering for Trump, so disappointed. Yeah, it truly is. It really is sad to see. I wish you could zoom. You could. There has to be a way to zoom in on this chat. So my situation is I have this set up on like a teleprompter, but I don't know if there's a way to zoom in. But yeah, it really is disappointing to see how people have lost so much empathy just basic empathy, really, for others in the pursuit of wealth and the pursuit of supremacy. I'll personally never understand it. I never have, even going back to first term Trump, but now it's even worse. Like somehow the plot got worse. Yeah, like criminal punishments for this is insane. Like even if they are citizen, like it could they could come back and it could prove that they're a citizen and they would still get in trouble. That doesn't make sense. I used to think Trump was draining the swamp. He's building the new one, his personal version, even worse. You're not alone. You're not alone. But at least you have the ability to recognize that, oh, maybe I thought wrongly of what he was doing. Because Trump is one, I mean, he's a businessman. He's one hell of a con artist. He's a hell of a con artist. He's a hell of a salesman. So isn't he, and he's a charismatic figure. So that's why he's able to con so many people into believing in this message. He's able to con so many people into believing, oh, I'm gonna make things cheaper. Oh, I'm gonna do this. He's set up to be the savior, the man that God sent for us to have a better life. But in reality, like I said in my video, he is the false prophet. But I'm glad that you understand that now. I'm not gonna say it's too late. I'm gonna say I'm glad that you understand it now, and I hope your actions follow your words. You know what I'm saying? And I have plenty of people I know that either supported Trump or actively voted for him, and some of them have come back around and been like, you know what, I messed up. I shouldn't have did that. And it's like the part of me that wants to say, okay, we told you so, blah blah blah. Shouldn't have did it. Look where we are now. But that's not going to get anything done at this point. We have to just take that and we have to move forward. And if people are still like, one thing that I'm trying to focus on, I'm getting off topic, but one thing I'm trying to focus on is not debating with people over these things. Like, it is a waste of time to debate with people over human rights. There should never be a debate about human rights. That's just how I feel. I don't believe that's a hot take either. Like, debating with conservatives is a complete waste of time in 2026. Let's be honest. It honestly has always been a waste of time, but especially now, it's useless. It's time to come together with those who will actually, make things better. Hold on, I gotta make my chat. I gotta change my chat color because I cannot see it. Let me do that real quick. No. Should I make it red? I'll make it red. Okay. Yeah. The swamp, I mean, it was never about draining the swamp. It was always about the greatest heist ever. Like, what he's doing right now is genuinely the greatest heist of all time. And he's still in taxpayer dollars. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. Yeah, this is also a major point. The Save America Act needs more time and resources to be implemented well. That is what I'm saying. If it was enacted in this election, it would make things very chaotic. Like BPC recommends that policymakers avoid making major changes in an election year, given a likelihood that they result in administrative errors and create confusion for voters. That's what I'm saying. It's chaos. It's chaos by design, though. Yeah, these are the comparisons here of the other acts that they were trying to work on before. So there has to be a way to zoom in here. Is it control? Yeah, it's control. Okay, so here we have the SAVE Act, which was, I believe, I should tell you. Yeah, the SAVE Act was first introduced in May of 2024. And this one only required documentary proof of citizenship to register to vote, which would still be a hindrance, a great hindrance to vote. But the Save America Act takes things to another level. This also requires voters to provide a photo ID to cast the ballot, which is what I was talking about earlier. Not a lot of people are going to have the proper photo ID to be able to vote. Because let's see, I guess especially if it's real ID, a lot of people still don't have a real ID. I don't even have a real ID yet, so that could be a hindrance to those people as well. The Mega Act, I messed this one up. I said they were working on it before, but actually it's being considered now by the House's third piece of legislation. Yeah, you can see the list. It would require the DPOC, the photo ID to cast a ballot. It would ban universal mail voting. It would require mail ballots to be received by election day to be counted. It would require election officials to process mail ballots upon receipt, but delay tabulation until the polls close. It will require voting systems to use voter verifiable paper ballots, among other adjustments to voting technology. They would just rig the machines. Yeah, that's definitely not problematic. Creed, I see your messages on my screen when I look over, but they're not popping up in the actual chat for some reason. Let me see if this can be refreshed. That's weird. YouTube chat for the win. Let me expand this out a little bit more. Yeah. Basically, the Save America Act would be a great detriment to the voting process. And if we allow that to pass, then it would make the 2026 election even more chaotic somehow. Oof. So yeah, all I can say on that front is just advocate for that to not be passed. Because yeah, it would affect a lot of people. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to touch on. Oh my goodness, yeah, that Ring Super Bowl ad. I'll play it real quick because yeah, it was something.
This is Milo. Pets are family, but every year, 10 million.
What are these names always sound so ominous? I couldn't tell you.
Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound like surveillance. Yeah, I did see stuff now that they were backing down from that, but it's still an important topic given that surveillance was a major part of 1984 to where, they were able to use telescreens all over the society to keep a constant watch on people, to watch what they're doing, to hear what they're doing and hear what they're saying. And basically what this was going to do, it's under the guise of, oh, we want to find dogs. We're using this to find lost dogs in the community. Yeah. I don't know about all of that. You feel me? And also Ring is owned by Amazon, so there's that. And Amazon obviously is tied up with the government. So there would be a pathway there for the government to use something like this to surveil on a wide scale, because there's probably a Ring camera in not every neighborhood, but I'd say like every middle class neighborhood, there's probably at least one Ring camera in nearly every middle class area. I don't have the actual statistics on that. I'm gonna have to look further into that. I even had one, but yeah, that thing is gone. So yeah, this would be a wide scale problem. Yeah, they ended their partnership with the surveillance firm. after the ad backlash. Because them Super Bowl ads, I don't know about y'all, but I thought them ads were trash, bro. Them ads were like they were terrible this year. It was all AI, surveillance stuff, propaganda. It was just trash. But yeah, after backlash, boycott, and things of that nature, they ended their they ended their partnership with Flock Safety, which is a police surveillance tech company. If you've ever seen those road cameras like on the side with the panel on it, and you can see like the tiny camera underneath it, that's probably a Flock Safety camera. They're on nearly every road now, at least that I've seen when driving. Why? He said countries that are willing to wage war have peace. He literally said that. Yeah, they changed. I didn't even mention this. Like, that's one thing. That's what I'm saying. I forgot to mention that they literally are trying to change the Department of Defense back to the Department of War. I forgot to mention that in that video just because there were so many things that were going on that just evaded my mind. I thought about it initially, but I guess I just forgot to put it in the script. But yeah, obviously, thankfully, this got backed out of, but who's to say that it won't come back? You know, you got to keep the pressure. And yeah, like it's it's so comical that war is being used as a means of peace, and that's like people have said that for centuries, right? That war is a means to peace. Why? Why would the destruction of innocent people be a means to get to peace? You feel me? War is a means to money. To them, money means peace. Wealth means peace. It's the military industrial complex, you know? That's what it's all about. Why do you think we went to Venezuela to grab Maduro, right? Let's not sit here and act like we went to Venezuela to grab Maduro because he was a part of like some drug cartel, right? And I ain't saying that that isn't true. I have to do more research. But Trump literally pardoned someone who was a drug trafficker. Like, let's not act like this was because of drugs. This was because of oil. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, basically the ring situation was crazy. And I remember watching that commercial. I was like, oh yeah, surveillance for the win in every neighborhood. That would be insane. And thankfully, like I said, I got taken out, but I wouldn't be surprised if she came back. What else? Oh yeah, the Washington Post. They strike again. So basically, the Washington Post within the last few weeks have laid off hundreds of their workers. I mentioned the Washington Post briefly in the video because they had fired Karen Atia, who had a string of tweets about gun violence in America, Charlie Kirk when he had got killed and things of that nature. And yeah, she got fired for that, and then basically went back against the Post. And now we see that they are continuing to suppress the news by laying off hundreds of these workers, right? So the estimates is that approximately 1/3 of employees were affected. That's a huge chunk. That's 33% of their workforce like that. Just gone. Right? One employee who was not authorized to speak publicly said it's an absolute bloodbath. And they had known about it for weeks. Like they had known that cuts were coming at some point, but they just didn't know when they would hit. And then it hit like a train. It hit fast, right? And so from there, the editor in chief, Matt Murray, told employees that the Post was undergoing a strategic reset to better position the publication for the future, according to several employees who were on the call. That's what they say. They say, "Oh, we're trying to what is it? We're trying to strategically get everything together. Some things just weren't working out, you know, like that's always the excuse for layoffs at these companies, these corporations, these news publications. That's always the excuse, even though these places profit and then some. But furthermore, yeah, they saying that the Post has struggled to reach customers. Talking about the needs to compete in a crowded media marketplace. Okay. One of the greatest, or not greatest, but one of the biggest news publications in the world was struggling to meet. Okay, struggling to reach customers. I'll believe it when I see it, right? Um, let's see. I know there was a major. Let's see. Trying to think of the different places because I have it on here. There are different places um that had got shut down, right? So I know the person who was talking about Amazon, they got let go. Um, let's see. Yeah, even unions are coming out saying it was inevitable, and obviously the newsroom cannot be hollowed out without consequences for its credibility, its reach, and its future. And obviously Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and he's been buddy buddy with Trump, so not surprised that this happened, unfortunately. But it is sad to see for the integrity of the news, and yeah, this will definitely have a lasting effect in the media. That's the thing. Like a lot of these billionaires own news publications. They own social media platforms, things of that nature. So it's easy for them to just suppress people who are either speaking negatively about this administration or just reporting on facts. Right? Um, let's see. I know. Did he get rid of his sports section? I think that's the one thing I saw. I could be wrong though. Cause yeah, it got rid of largest team. Yeah, their largest team now focusing on politics and government after firing all the people. Man, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. We got to see the fallout of this in the coming months, what they put out. I'm trying to see the specific departments that got cut out. Mm, yeah, this is what Bezos. Yeah, this is where he was recently. He's there in person to greet Pete Hegseth at I guess it was, yeah, the tour of the space company he owns, I guess. Like they're not even hiding it, bro. I bet everything the Post is gonna skew right. Yeah, they're definitely going to. I mean, why would they fire most of their staff at a time like this when people are covering what's going on with this administration and the world as a whole? I don't know. It's not coincidental for sure. Yeah, Martin Barron, the Post or editor until 2021, said this ranks among the darkest days in the history of one of the world's greatest news organizations. Yeah, they got wiped out. They cleaned house for sure, and it ties into what I'm saying about censorship. When so many powerful people or so many billionaires control the media, censorship is bound to happen. Why do you think independent media is taking off now? Why do you think people are on Substack or people are streaming on Twitch? Why do you think I'm here right now? Right? Independent media is going to be the future. Independent media is becoming the now. Why do you see so many people on Blue Sky? There's still people on Twitter. That hellscape of a platform. Okay. Let's see what else. I could talk about the warehouses. Yeah, I'll touch up on the warehouses because that is an independent media also produce Asmongold. I mean, hey, it's not all going to be perfect, right? I mean, you got to have some roaches in the bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, that man is he's one of the humans of all time. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's talk about the warehouses real quick, right? So, over the past, I guess, couple of months, ICE has been buying warehouses and turning them into detention centers. And not all of them have went through. Like sometimes there have been some instances where the what is it called? Where the owners said no, thankfully, or protests and pressure got in the way and stopped those things from happening. But ICE is using that what is it, 100? What are they getting that bill? I think in the big beautiful bill they got around $100 billion in funding, which, mind you, is more than a lot of countries spend on their military. So that stood out to me as a problem as well when that happened. I was just like, ooh, they got a lot of money. Like things could get real fast with that much money. Excuse me. ICE has been committing all sorts of crimes. I'm not sure anyone supports this obviously corrupt organization. Bro, it's the modern day Gestapo, bro. Like a lot of the people that they're taking are innocent. Like what a lot of people don't realize is that even if someone was undocumented, that's not a criminal crime. That is a civil crime. You know? Like you shouldn't go to jail because you're undocumented. That's not how it's supposed to be. But yeah, let's look at where they're trying to get these warehouses at, right? This is the facility square feet. Goes to 100K, 400K, 1 million, right? So the red dots mean it's rejected. The blue dots mean it's purchased. The orange means proposed, and the yellow means it's pending, right? And the gray means it's existing. Look at the size of the gray ones, right? And then look at the size of the new ones. Like yeah, like look at these. Yeah. And look at the cost of these too, like $128 million. And like this is the same government that says, "Oh, we can't do healthcare. We can't do free healthcare. We can't do welfare for the people. Social Security gonna run out." It's all a grift. Like when people really think about it critically for like 10 seconds, they start to understand, wait, maybe this is all a facade, maybe we could have these things. Cause who would say no to having free healthcare, right? Like, that's just a gimme. Because health bills in this country are outlandish, like to the point where people would rather die than have to pay their health bills. It's insane. It's insane that people have to die instead of paying their bills. It's a sickening system. It's like we're set up as cattle. Just get fed garbage, you do work, and then we can't pay our bills. And then we die because we're not useful. We can't pay our bills. Right? That's another thing. But keep on track here. Yeah, like these new centers that they're purchasing are huge. They believe even if you remotely criticize America, it's suddenly hateful to criticize America if Republicans are in office. Dude, I criticize America when Democrats are in office, when Republicans are in office. It doesn't matter. Red, blue, pink, green, yellow. Like, it does not matter. It doesn't matter who is in office. That's also how I feel about the files. I'll just say the files because I know YouTube has some weird stuff, but I'll just say the files, right? Like, that's how I feel about the files. Whoever's in the files, I don't care. Red, blue, pink, green, yellow, purple. You should be not in, I'm not just gonna say in, but whoever's implicated in a crime in the files, you should go to prison. I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's a hot take. Yeah, like look at the size of some of these. Thankfully, these got rejected because look at how large these would have been. This is crazy. Why are we building detention centers this large, right? Or why are we buying warehouses this large, right? And you start to think about it. What does this lead to? Does this lead to camps? Personally, I believe so. Not everyone will. But if y'all are trying to house hundreds of thousands of immigrants, where does this lead to? It's something to think about. And if they're not hitting quotas, do they go after citizens? That's really the scary reality that not a lot of people want to think about. I talk to people, they don't want to acknowledge what's going on. They want to be distracted. But this is serious shit. It's not a happy conversation. The problem is people don't do research on the topics. Yeah, a lot of people get their news off of TikTok and Instagram. Like I know people on the left who get news from TikTok and Instagram. They strictly get their news from there. And that is also a problem. There's a lot of misinformation on those platforms. It's everywhere. People don't want to go do the hard work of actually looking into the topics and reading. People don't want to read. That's really the problem. People don't want to read. The literacy rates are garbage. People don't want to read anymore. They refuse to think for themselves. They refuse to have the critical thinking. They want to rely on AI. They don't want to read. Fox News is even more biased than CNN, yet people believe them. I don't care for CNN either. They're both problematic in their own ways, but definitely Fox News. Fox News is the possibly the greatest psyop that's ever been created, right? Like Fox News, when it comes to being a psyop, is Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame psyop. That's an All NBA first team psyop. Facebook too, man. It's just dribble. It's dribble everywhere. But yeah, this just really scares me. Like, I'll zoom in some because yeah, it just goes to show you. It just goes to show you how demented these people are, how sick these people are, how twisted these people are to create these large. They're saying facilities, but I'm thinking of it as a camp, right? Create these large camps where people are just going to be taken to. We don't know what's going to happen to these people. There are already instances of people disappearing. I talked about it in that video. There are people disappearing from these centers. Where are they going? They're getting sent to places they're not from. What does that lead to? People are inevitably going to get lost in that process. And it could be purposely, right? I've heard a lot of stories on stuff like this. It gets deeper. Like the immigration section in that video alone could have been its own video. Honestly, all of them could have been their own video. That video could have been hours long if I wanted it to be. I just had to get the scope down because I actually wanted to finish it. Because it would have took me forever to finish it because the new stuff would have kept coming out. It would have been an endless cycle. It would have been like a documentary. It would have been like a 3-hour documentary. It would have been insane. Yeah, it's a lot going on. And I don't even know how they're gonna get all of these people put into these places. Like they're trying to hit quotas of like thousands of people a day. I don't even know that's possible. Pam Bondi loves laughing because she's just a puppet. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna touch on next. I'm gonna briefly talk about the files actually, because Pam, you talking about scam Bondi, you talking about. I hate using. I hate using his nickname, but it is low key funny. I hate to give Loomer props, but Blondie is kind of funny. I'm just like, dude, he's just so cooked. Like, she's obviously complicit at this point. I'm gonna take let's see. Which one is it? Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. Okay. So the FBI interviewed an Epstein victim who accused Trump of, essaying her when she was underage, not once, but at least 4 times. Document that shows those additional interviews appears to have been deleted from the DOJ website. This is obviously some sort of cover up. And she is complicit in it. I did watch as much of that hearing as I could take. And she's going back and forth with people. I know Ted Lieu, he accused her of being complicit in the crime, and she's like, don't you dare don't you dare do that. Don't you dare accuse me of a crime. But I mean, by definition, you suppressing information that could lead to a criminal investigation means you're complicit in the crime. That is how the law works, Pam Bondi. And I'm perplexed on how you even became a lawyer. If you can become a lawyer, shit, anyone can become a lawyer. You feel me? I could become a lawyer. I feel like I'd be a decent lawyer, though, to be honest. But yeah, like, she is a joke. The Dow is over 50,000. Did you know that the Dow is over 50,000? Shut up, dude. Like, that was such a reality TV show moment when she said that shit, dude. The Dow is over 50,000 in the middle of talking about victims of heinous crimes. Let's talk about the stock market. Dude, she was cooked. She was insanely cooked. I don't know how some people came away saying she owned the list. I'm like, dude, no. Did you see how she was performing? She sounded like she was drunk. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But yeah, that's just the whole can of worms there with her and Patel. Like, Kash Patel, these people are elite grifters, bro. I don't know how people fell for this shit. Like, years ago, or like a few years ago, Kash Patel was saying, oh yeah, Biden's FBI has Epstein's black book, yada yada yada. Okay, you got into office. Where is it? Right? There's no excuses now. You're the head of the FBI now. Where you wanted to take them down, you thought there were so many people implicated, and then you want to go and say, well, actually, there is no evidence that Epstein blackmailed people. There is no evidence that Epstein trafficked to other powerful individuals. Come on, man. 5-year-old wouldn't even believe that. Like, these people think that everyone is slow, but they're the slow ones. They're the dummies in the room. I mean, it's gonna come crashing down on them. I mean, we already see the approval ratings. It's terrible. This is like the least likable administration in American history. At least since Poland has been done and things of that nature. Like, this is a laughing stock. We are a global laughing stock now. And I ain't gonna say things is perfect when Biden was in office, because that's also not true. But I can say with confidence that this is the worst administration in our lifetimes. It's the most harmful administration in our lifetimes. Easily. there's really not even competition at this point. Let's see. If I want to touch more on surveillance, there is the Discord situation. Oh my gosh. As someone who uses Discord, I mean, you can literally see my Discord down at the left side. Like, this actually sucks. And I know like there's some requirements in other places where you have to do ID and things like that, but this actually blows because Discord, I've been using Discord since 2016. It's been 10 years. To see this happen, it honestly breaks my heart that they're going along the route of face scanning and ID. This is actually treacherous. They'll just say the polls are fake or they were rigged. Yeah, like every time they lose, it's a hoax, or every time they lie, it's a hoax, or every time they lose, it's rigged. It's rigged. They can never lose and be like, you know what? I just lost. I needed to. I should have been better. They beat me. And Trump admitted that he lost. Like, you can look into the Jack Smith investigation and you'll find that he admitted that he lost behind closed doors. But, you know, hey, it was rigged though, right? Stop the count. Stop the count. That shit had me crying when that was happening. Stop the count is an all-time tweet. Like, that's a banger. Every company is suddenly conservative. Yet when Biden was in office, they're liberal. Now they're conservatives. Yeah, companies flip-flop because they want to make money. They don't care about us. That's what a lot of people, that's why I keep telling people, stop buying into billionaires. They do not care about you. I had people telling me Elon Musk was so cool. Elon did this. Elon did that. Bro, he is the biggest fraud ever. What has he done? Realistically, tell me one thing of importance on this planet Earth that Elon Musk has done. Tell me. Realistically, tell me. And if you give me something that's genuinely accurate, I will hear you out. What beneficial thing has he done for this planet? I literally know frogs in the pond that have done more for this planet. I know bees buzzing around collecting pollen that have done more for this planet than Elon Musk. That's all I gotta say on that. No one can prove me wrong. Who, like, genuinely, what has he done to benefit this planet? Like, they all frauds. Billionaires are frauds. Corporations are frauds. Stop buying into corporations all the time. Buy secondhand. Or just buy locally. There's that. Support local businesses. Yeah, so basically Discord is having the Face ID thing and basically like weed out minors and things like that, but there's obviously going to be loopholes. I mean, people are always going to lie about their ages, like, no matter what. We need to focus more on actually keeping people safe than barriers for entry to where it could potentially leak your personal data. You know, they already had a leak that leaked, like, I think it was like 75,000 government IDs or something like that. So this has already happened. Elon, most important thing he did was buying Twitter to turn it from a left-wing hellscape to a right-wing hellscape. Dude, oh my gosh. I remember the day Elon bought Twitter. I was actually just stunned. I was like, damn, we really let this happen. Twitter, okay. I usually say at Twitter, was it a left-wing hellscape? In some instances, yeah. But I don't believe that it was as bad as it is now. Like, it's actually terrible now. You can't go 2 posts without seeing the craziest shit you've ever seen someone say. The most reactionary stuff you've ever seen. Like, it's literally grift. It's grift in heaven. It's grift in galore on there. I mean, I've been on Twitter also since like 2016. So seeing the fall of Twitter as well is that hurt as well. That hit me. Oof, that one hurt. Because 2020 Twitter was probably Was 2020 Twitter the peak of social media? I feel like it low key was, at least from my opinion. I don't go on TikTok and stuff like that, so I don't really have any experiences with that side of things. But I feel like 2020 Twitter was honestly probably the greatest um period of social media in history. It was just so it was just such a it was cooked, but it was funny as hell. I can't lie. It wasn't as bad because at least there were some people with some common sense. I also see a lot of people saying women shouldn't even vote. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Twitter's moderation back then could sometimes be a little strict, but it was definitely better than what's going on now. And I'm all for free speech, don't get me wrong, but there is a clear difference between free speech and hate speech. That's what a lot of people fail to realize or don't want to realize. Like, we shouldn't be able to just go say, oh, yeah, like, women shouldn't be able to vote and things like that. Like, there's clearly a difference. But, alas, we have got to the point where, yeah, it's not even enjoyable to go on there. Like I deleted it off my phone, but I'll go on there sometimes on my computer, either for like research for a video or sometimes just to check how that trending page is doing. And I'll just see stuff and I'll just be like, this is why I got off of here. Like I I don't even know if I could open Twitter right now on this computer. Like Twitter is so cooked. It's hard to even open Twitter in public at this point in the game. Like it's damn near NSFW across the board. No, I remember right before I got off Twitter, the porn epidemic on Twitter was crazy. Like it'd be at least every few posts, or at least in like some sort of someone's comments, be some sort of promotion. It'd just be straight up porn. I'm like, dude, it's too early in the morning for this. Elon doesn't care about you. He takes all your jobs, and there's AI making right wing movies. Yeah, like I didn't even. That's what I'm saying. Like I missed so much stuff in that video. I didn't even talk about the fact that Grok called itself Mecha Austrian man with mustache, and it also has been the clothing miners. It is producing CSAM. Yeah, that's very disgusting. At the like, that's just the least I could say. It's honestly vile, and I don't know how that's even allowed. Like, there wasn't safeguards put in place for that. But I mean, Elon did want to go to the island, so are we really that surprised? You know, this is the same guy that said, "Oh, I wasn't associated with Epstein." You know, Doc is very biased. Sayer Christian is clearly programmed to support you no matter what. I mean, all AI are biased. AI is the like not greatest, but it's the biggest yes man ever. Why do you think so many people are having psychosis from AI and stuff like that? Not so many, but why do you think people are having psychosis from AI, constantly interacting with AI chatbots? Because it is a yes man. It will tell you what to do. Why do you think people are literally deleting themselves from the planet? That's the way I'm gonna phrase it so I don't get demonetized. But deleting themselves because of AI. It validates what people want to hear. Like people don't realize AI is supposed to be a predictor. It is not supposed to be used in a way it is being used. It is supposed to be used as a predictive tool. That is the way it has been set up throughout history. And now it's being used for purposes it wasn't supposed to be used for, which is why we are getting the results that we're getting. I'm a computer science major, so I feel like I'm well versed in what AI is and what AI isn't. You feel me? That's why one of my next videos actually will be an AI video. It might be the next one. I'm thinking it might be the next one because that is a hot topic right now. And also, I have a lot of things to say on that front because we are actually on our way to the age of illusion where we don't believe anything is real. The ultimate derealization, ultimate hysteria. And it is a very that would be very harmful to society. I mean, we already struggle with critical thinking as is. And that would add a whole intricate layer on top of that. So yeah, I'll definitely make a video on that topic as well. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to cover? I have a few things on this list, but I don't know. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that. So yeah, the president of the United States posted a picture depicting, or he posted a video depicting the Obamas as apes. And yeah. I mean, it honestly just explains itself. I I find it hard to say the things I want to say because I mean obviously I could just say yeah that's racist, but like it really gets deeper than that, you know. It's insane. Holding on to yourself really doesn't help anyone. He doesn't care. Yep, demonizes the poor. I'm gonna put this over here. Actually, I cannot see. Oops. Demonizes the poor. He said he wouldn't lower. Yeah, like these people don't care about the poor. But yeah, this honestly, when I saw this, I woke up one morning and I just saw this. It ruined my day automatically off rip. I was just like, and I'm not even a like at this point in the game, I'm not even a huge Obama person. Like he had his own problems, but to depict a former president and his wife that are black as apes, whew. Yeah, I wouldn't have sent that tweet out. That's that was definitely one of the most vile things I've seen that man post. I was just sick. I was like, wow, okay. Waking up on a Friday morning and it's just like, you know what? Let's just post them as monkeys. Oh, my light died. Hold on, let me put it on charger real quick. Yeah, I'm really dark in here. Got me looking like a locked character in Smash. Can you use it while it's charging? Yeah, you can. Sorry about that minor inconvenience. Shit. Get this right. Okay. Yeah, he clearly watched the whole thing. He's lying. He just wanted to hurt Obama. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro said, I watched the whole thing. And he would say, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. And then whoever posted it, the staffer that posted it didn't face any repercussions either. Like, it's clearly a lie. Yeah, I woke up to that on my feed. Yo, welcome in, Jesse. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I can't believe it either. I can't believe it either. It's honestly one of the saddest things ever. But at the same time, I'm not that surprised though, because I mean we already had Trump first term. He was saying grab him by the still won. He still won. 20 years ago, that would have been political suicide. That would have been the end of your political career. And now you can just say stuff like that casually on a Tuesday afternoon. It's sick. It's sick. People would rather be racist and homophobic and xenophobic than actually getting to the root of the issue. Getting to the root of why so many people are poor. Getting to the root of why people are homeless. Getting to the root of why we can't have social services and things like that in this country, even though we have billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to do so, and it would be easy to do so. Yeah, people want this instead. Trump wins because people hate cancel culture and they don't realize that stuff can hurt people. They think everything is funny and base. No, it's not that. It's no, it's not like that. Trump won because people are hateful. That is the end all be all. We can't say that Trump won because people don't like woke. Like, yeah, people don't like woke, but that's not why Trump won. Trump won because this system is set up for people to be racist and hateful. God, imagine if Biden posted Trump as a pig or something. The constant hypocrisy is genuinely mind-boggling. It is. That man would be sick. If I couldn't have been Obama in this not administration, but in this situation. Like oh my goodness, I would have cooked them so badly. It would have been sad. He took the high road, but he should have came back and cooked them. I think it would have made for a good spectacle, but also a good get back. But I mean, he's cooking himself. Like Obama doesn't have to do anything. Trump is destroying himself. He's destroying his base. Like as long as the election is fair and free, like Republicans are doomed. Like they are not going to win anything for the foreseeable future. They could maybe get like a slight majority in like the House or Senate, but it won't be a large majority. Like it won't be a powerful majority again. Not for the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's what I mean. People love being bigoted. It makes me sad. I wish there were people who actually care about politics. I'm trying to milk those liberals too. You don't really care about you. Yeah, like that's one thing too. Like at this point in the game, if someone calls me a liberal, I'm honestly offended. Like I am. Liberals also they they also have the they also have their problems. I consider myself more of a moralist. Like I have my own beliefs, and I do believe in human rights. I do believe that social services would benefit this country, and I do believe that people have the right to live. You know, as long as they're decent people, they have the right to do what they need to do. Even with the prison system, rehabilitation should be a thing instead of, oh yeah, you're just in prison forever. I mean, there are people still in prison for weed, so like, let's be honest. Doesn't make sense. Of course, he took the high road. He's an actual leader. These morons are blind. It's it's baffling to me. I'll never quite understand it, and honestly, that might be the point. It's not supposed to be understood. It's supposed to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with. Okay, let me rephrase what I'm saying. When I say liberal, I mean like a 2008 Republican, right? Like I mean like the status quo. I think of people on the left who genuinely are on the left as leftists. I should have been more uh, concise with that point. People that hate their enemies and the right has used Christianity to deem their enemies as Satan. Yeah, like Antichrist, Antichrist, Antichrist. Like that's what it's about. And Christianity has been weaponized for centuries, but especially nowadays, it's crazy. Like, yeah, there obviously there's nothing wrong with being on the left, but there is something wrong with the status quo. When you said Kamala wins the country, would be judged by God, dude. Oh my goodness, it's so silly. Yeah, we actually could have had a qualified candidate, but you know, we ended up with Orange Man, and honestly, you know, maybe this will finally wake people up to the reality that maybe Trump is evil, or maybe fascism is bad. Maybe I do just want to live my life without having the government impede on my ability to do that. Crazy thought, right? Hmm. I don't know, food for thought for some people, even though I think it's a no-brainer. Um, let's see, is there anything else I want to cover on here before I get off? Honestly, that might be it. But yeah, a big thing on big thing I want people to realize is the Save America Act could potentially stop you from being able to vote. Save America Act is huge. It could stop a lot. It could stop over 20 million people from voting as of now. Conservative women confused. They say women shouldn't have rights, but are using their rights to say those things. True. No, they'll keep thinking, they'll keep living in a bubble thinking Trump has done nothing wrong. Exactly. That's why I'm gonna say this here. I'm just gonna say this in general because I'm gonna post this after. Stop debating with conservatives. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of time. You need to get into community with people who are actually ready to create change. There's no point of convincing someone at this point. If someone can see that the president has been exactly, they're unsavable. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's a waste of time. If someone could see that the president has been implicated in heinous acts revolving minors and they still decide to support him, what can I say to you to change your mind? What can I say? At a certain point, you have lost your mind. You are cooked. And this isn't about left or right. This is about what's right and what's wrong. It's about good and it's about evil. You feel me? You get it. Thank you. Like, it doesn't make sense to me when people try to go into, like, they try to talk to their conservative family members, they try to talk to their conservative friends. At a certain point, why are you friends with conservatives? You are a product of who you surround yourself with. To be fair, a lot of conservatives admit he's not a good person, but he's a tool of God's wrath. Okay, I thought God was supposed to be loving. See, I don't want to get into the. I get into the religious debates, man. It's not debates, but conversation. It's a whole nother can of worms, bro. Like, I thought God was supposed to be all loving. What do you mean God's wrath? Oh yeah, the Messiah. He's the Messiah sent down to save everyone. He's the Messiah sent to save America. That's a whole nother thing. They prop him up as some sort of prophet. He is a false prophet. He's a grifter. He's an elite. Like I said, when it comes to grifting, he got it. He might be the GOAT. He might be the greatest of all time. He might be. I got this GOAT trophy. He might be the GOAT. I'm gonna put this up. Might be La Cabra. The GOAT. You feel me? I hope that's the right word for GOAT. I haven't touched up on my Spanish in a minute. But yeah. Moral of the story is just respect people, you know, have basic empathy and don't be convinced by this administration that is clearly giving you propaganda. It's the signs are obvious. And yeah, just go, if you need more advice, go back to the end of my video where I talked about, you know, organizing, reading, obviously voting, but doing your research before you vote, not just voting blindly. Yeah, just getting in community with people because, like we're saying, you can't convince people at this point. There's nothing to convince them about, and it's a waste of time that could be spent actually building communities of people who care. Now, if you want to talk to people who are on the fence, I mean, it's better. But if you're just strictly trying to convert conservatives, that's not going to work. Just don't even bother. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end on that note. If there's anything else I want to cover, I'll just make another video on it. But yeah, thank you all for coming out to the stream. gonna try to cut this up and see if I can make it into some sort of vibe. But I got off topic a lot, but it was good. I appreciate y'all for coming through and keeping the conversation going because it can be hard for me to go through all of this stuff on my own and try to talk about it for a long time. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all for coming through. And I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all night and be safe out there. Thank you.